What's going on, guys? Welcome to the No Excuses Podcast, episode 11. Today's title is Honoring Your Name. So, guys, originally I wasn't going to do a podcast about this today, but it's a post that I put up the other day, and I felt it was something very powerful and meant a lot to me. And I wanted to elaborate on it and get into it, dive into it deeply. So, guys, this is like every podcast, something very deep, something very cool, something very informative that you'll be able to use and take it upon yourself and level up your life. But, guys, before we get started, I wanted to say, man, guys, make sure you like, share, you subscribe, and guys, put it on social media, spread the word, help us, help you, help me come up with new content. If you ever want to hear like me talk about certain subjects, shoot me a DM and I could put it in my queue. All right, guys, let's get started. Episode 11, honoring your name. So, guys, like, what does honoring your name even really mean? When you were born, you got a name. Parents named you. My parents named me, Yaniv, and then I got the last name, Rosenberg. Well, to most people, they never even think about their name. Their name is just their name, and that's it. But where I come from, your name means a lot. And your name could be very powerful. And your name could hold a lot of weight. And your name is not just something that you just use for people to get your attention. So we're going to start this by my past. First thing, guys, like Rosenberg, it's a very Jewish last name. But when I started researching about my name, like, what does it even mean? Well, back in the days during World War II, when Hitler was around, you couldn't have any Jews, right? It was trying to terminate all the Jews. And a lot of the Jews were escaping. And basically, Rosenberg is basically Rose Mountain, Mountain of Roses. And that's what the Jews did when they fled different places. They used different names, of trees and of mountains, and combined them together. And that's what we got. So that's first thing how I got my last name. Fast forward is as far as I can remember and understand is my grandparents, what they had to go through with that name, right? Escaping the Holocaust and going through hell on earth to even hold on to that name, to that Jewish last name. They worked really, really hard. They went through a lot of really tough hardships to get to where they were and eventually have children and have my father. So, man, my dad was my superhero. My dad was a really tough man. He was a man of honor. He married my mother when he was 19. His father, my grandfather, passed when he was 14. And my dad had to quit school and take over the family business, which was my grandfather owned the shoe store. So he took over the shoe store at 14 years old, guys. And back in the days, women did not work. And he had to carry the family name. So he had to take care of his 3 younger brothers, take care of his mom, because women didn't work, and run the shoe store, quit school and everything. And he did that till he was 18. And at 18 in Israel, you get deployed and go into the military. So from there, he went to the military and became a tank commander and moved up the ranks and built up his name in the military. At 19 years old, when he came back from deployment one time, he met my mom, got married right away. She took on his name. And before you know it, he had children and so on and so on. And he always told us, honor your name, honor your name. But again, guys, as a kid, I never understood what he meant by that. As I got older, I started understanding, what does honoring your name even really mean? And at first, my first understanding was I was in high school and I got in trouble. And I'll never forget, my dad beat the shit out of me. And he said, "You're disrespecting the name." And I said, "Man, disrespecting the name? Like, what does that even mean?" I didn't understand all the history that went behind that name, how much sacrifice went into that name. When we came to America, my parents left everything in Israel to come to this country to give us a better life. They sacrificed everything, the business, a home, their native language, their family members, everything to come to this country, give their children more of an opportunity. And here I am, this teenager who's a delinquent, causing trouble and tarnishing the family name. So slowly, I started kind of understanding what my dad meant by it. And then I remember when I would get into a fight, I would always say to myself in the back of the head, like, man, I got to represent my family name. And if I was going to fight, my dad made sure, like, if you're going to fight, you better fucking win. And that was always in the back of my mind, like, don't disrespect the name. If you're going to get into trouble or you're going to get into a fight, make sure you hold it down. So I always had this, like, I don't call it a burden, but this thing in the back of my head where I got to make sure I hold the name up high. I remember in high school, there was a Nazi kid, and he wore black boots with red laces. And I remember approaching him and saying to him, "Yo, man, why are you wearing those red laces?" And he says to me, no, before he says to me anything, I go, "Are you a Nazi?" And like he saw, like he knew my last name. And he's like, "Up, up, up." Immediately when he hesitated, I already knew that he was. So I just laid that motherfucker out. And I actually forced him to take the red laces off his shoes. And again, representing the name, we're representing, my family, representing my heritage. As time went by, I continued going down really the wrong path. And I got into some things I shouldn't have get into. I was making a lot of money. And this is where like the podcast is going to actually really start about what I really want to tell you. I was making a lot of money and my parents never had a lot of money. So every week, month, whatever it was, I would take an envelope and I would fill it with cash and I would give it to my father to help pay bills and, just to have money. And he said to me, he goes, "Are you selling drugs?" I said, "No, I'm not." He said, "No, we fucking ate drugs in this family. Drugs are, for low lives and drug dealers are bad people and so on and so on." I said, "No, father, I'm not selling drugs." Okay. Next month again, I give him another envelope of money. He says, "I thought I told you not to sell drugs." I said, "I'm not selling drugs." He says, "What are you doing?" I said, "I can't really tell you." I said, "But I'm doing stuff, with some wise guys and stuff." He said, "Listen, you motherfucker." He goes, "The route that you're going, you're going to end up or dead or in prison." And he goes, "I didn't bring you here to this country to ruin your life. I didn't bring you to this country to destroy our family." The last thing he said was, "I didn't bring you to this country to destroy the family name. The family name, there's no drug dealers, there's no criminals, all hardworking people, honest people, hardworking people who contribute to society." And he goes, "If you go to prison," he's like, "you're going to destroy everything I've ever worked for. You're going to destroy the sacrifice that I've made to come to this country." And he said to me, "Hold your name up high." He goes, "Represent the name, with pride and honor." And then he says to me, "Do something you love." And I said, this is where my whole career changed. He says, "Do something you love." I said, "What do you love?" "One thing I love to do is play football, work out, and fight." He says, "Well, you can't play football anymore. Why don't you work out and fight? Why don't you teach people how to work out and fight?" And I never looked at working out as fighting as a job. I just looked at it as something that I enjoyed to do. And I said, you know what, let me give it a shot. I gave it a shot. I dropped all the bad things I was doing. I moved back to my parents' house. I got rid of my sick condo on the beach. I had a sick Rolex, pinky ring, sick car, a lot of women. I got rid of everything, guys, just to honor my name, to honor my father, not to disgrace him. Moved back to my parents' house and became a trainer. It was the best thing that's ever happened to me in my life. Not that, just the fact that I didn't go to jail or end up dead, but like I helped so many people through this journey. I've helped since 2002. I've probably helped easy 8,000 people. If it's through martial arts, if it's through fitness, if it's through mindset training, their children. Now I've just touched so many lives, and it's been my biggest honor. So now we go into this. What is honoring your name? Well, if you honor your name, you will automatically hold yourself to a higher standard. You will automatically start making better choices because you got to hold your name up high. Let's get into that. Well, if you walk around and you're out of shape and you look like shit and you're fat and you just eat garbage all the time and you don't take care of yourself, do you think you're honoring your name? You're not. You're actually tarnishing it. You're letting your name down. You're letting your family's name down. You're basically, because when someone says, hey, do you know Joe Smith? Yeah, I know Joe Smith. Oh, the fat guy, Joe Smith. Yeah, we know him. So Joe Smith is known to be the fat guy. He's known to be the slob. Well, that happens. Why? Because you won't take care of yourself. But if you take care of yourself, your name will not be associated with being a fat slob. That's one way to honor your name. Another way to honor your name is not being a criminal. Okay? Not committing crime. Do you think that's an easy one? Well, for a lot of people, it's not. There's a lot of people in poverty and a lot of people that grew up without the right guidance, or parents that were just too busy working, trying to support their families, like myself. That just turned into it. Well, but if you have pride and honor, you don't commit crime. So guys, when I was young, I grew up all around gangs. When I got older, I grew up around organized crime. And I would say 95% of everybody that I grew up around with was full of tattoos. Now, guys, like today, in the past decade, tattoos are cool. Like people are like just getting tattoos just to get tattoos. But back in the days, guys, when I was a kid, you only got a tattoo if you were like a gangster, criminal, biker, badass motherfucker. You didn't just get tattoos. It didn't exist for fun. And never got a tattoo. How come? Well, I knew my father said no tattoos. We don't do tattoos in this family. Okay? So guess what? There's no tattoos on my body till this day. Now, and I'm not even against them anymore, right? Like when I was a kid, I had a stigma, but as I grew older and as things changed, it's okay, whatever. But again, no tattoos. Honor in the name. Furthermore, the career you choose. What career are you going to choose that's going to elevate and level up the family name or bring the family name down? So you come from a family, for example, that's full of doctors. Everyone's a doctor. Everyone's super educated or whatnot. And technically, you're supposed to go down that path. But instead, you decide to freaking just work as a busboy or as in restaurants your whole life, as some waiter or bartender. Like you've never really moved up in your life. You think you're holding up your family name, or doing some cold calls all day or whatever low level job that you're doing. Guys, by the way, I'm not smashing any job. But just understand that there's levels of things. Everything you do, every step you make, you either honoring your name or tarnishing your name. You decide to get married, right? What kind of person are you marrying? Are they a high level person or a low level person? Maybe you're marrying a person that does drugs, lies, cheats, comes from a bad family. Well, guess what? You just tarnished your family name. Or maybe you met a really nice person who's more hardworking and dedicated and comes from a good family. Well, now you leveled up your name. Oh, and now you're going out with your boys. Well, what are you going to do? If you get fucking shit-faced drunk, are you leveling up your family name or are you tarnishing your name? If you're doing drugs, are you leveling up your name or are you tarnishing your name? You know exactly what you're doing. You're tarnishing your name. You don't even give a fuck because you're fucking selfish. Why are you selfish? Because you don't think of anybody besides yourself. See, before I make any move in my life, I ask myself, how is this going to affect my family name? How is this going to affect me? How is this going to affect my wife? How is this going to affect my children? How is this going to affect my students? How is this going to affect my community? A lot of times, guys, I want to do stupid shit also, but I don't because of honor. You see, guys, I don't go by feelings. I go by facts. So sometimes I feel like maybe doing something stupid, but I don't because I don't go by feelings. Every part of your life, every action you take will be about honoring or tarnishing. You might say, well, you know, I hate my last name. My dad used to abuse me. My mom was absent. She left me. And I just have this last name by default. Well, you know what? That is your last name. And now you can build that name up. So then when you have children, your children can be proud of your name. Your children can say, hey, you know what? Dad went through this drama and this hardships, but he built this, this, and this. And now this family name is no longer associated with crime or people leaving each other or drugs or drinking or any garbage, cheating, betrayal. No, this family name is an honorable name. Nobody in this family is known to be a drug addict. Nobody in this family known to be a freaking alcoholic. Nobody in this family is known to be not punctual, right? Like in every part of your life, you can honor or tarnish your name. It's funny, you know, like even the other day I was talking to one of my guys and he's a vegetarian. And I said to him, why? He said, well, it was my family. That's the way I was raised. So he goes, this is how I feel like I'm honoring them, you know? And I thought that was cool because he's honoring his family name. And guys, like, this is something very important. You know, like, if you disregard everything and just do whatever the hell you want, well, guess what? What do you have left? Nothing. A lot of the traditions that I do in my religion, you know, in my jiu-jitsu gym, it's all about honoring the name. Not just my name, my family's name. Not just my family's name, my teacher's name, his teacher's name, the grandmaster's name. There's rules, there's traditions, there's habits, there's things that we do because of our family name. You know, guys, like when I show up to an appointment, I make sure I always show up on time. As a matter of fact, early. Why? Because I don't want some motherfucker somewhere to be like, oh, that guy, Yaniv Rosenberg, oh, he's the guy who always shows up late. I don't want that behind my back. I don't want that attached to my name. Oh, you know that guy, Yaniv Rosenberg? He's disrespectful. Oh, you know that guy, Yaniv Rosenberg? He's a cheater. Oh, my friends, you'll never catch anything bad on my name because I won't do it. I won't do it. And the things that I do, I put them out in public. Don't care. Put them out in public. I don't hide them. right? Because I don't feel like they are bad. If I don't feel like they're bad, then and I make sure that I'm objective about it, then it's okay. You see, guys, like you should constantly be asking yourself, how am I living? Are you living by the code? By honoring your name? Are you living by the street? Are you living, in this new generation where nobody means anything, where everything just comes and goes, where you could just do whatever you want? You could show up when you want. I tell my students all the time this. I was like, guys, the membership that you pay $200 a month to come train with me, that just gets you to walk into my door. But now your character speaks the rest. Your character showing up on time, staying up after to help clean up, not being disrespectful, winning humbly, losing with humility, helping out others. All these are attached to that guy's name when he walks into my gym. The payment just gets you in, guys. This is what you have to understand, that your name and your reputation will follow your actions. Every action you make, okay, is a pro or a con against you. So ask yourself, how am I doing? How am I living? And how am I going about my day? The other day, I had an opportunity. I had a guy reach out to me. He's like, hey, you need somebody from the old days. He's like, yo, man, we can make a lot of money doing this deal. And it wasn't illegal. It wasn't illegal. But it just wasn't clean. And I said, hey, man, nah, I'll skip. And he looks at me, he goes, why? I said, nah. I said, no, thank you. He kept asking. And I told him, I said, hey, bro, I said, I don't want this on my name. I don't want, again, it wasn't illegal, but I don't want not a kosher transaction to go under my belt. That is why, guys, like when anytime someone accuses me of anything that's not true, I get so mad and so upset and so like riled up about it, because I honor my name to the highest level, that I refuse to take on any dirt. I refuse to tarnish it. Bro, last week, guys, like I get a lot of DMs all the time. Guys, girls, different people, business. But a lot of the stuff that I get is sexual. You know what I mean? Like I get a lot of women send me stuff, like nudes and flirting, shit like that. Even a bunch of freaking dudes, it's crazy. And I had this really pretty girl, and she was like sending me like all these nudes. And I had to tell her, I'm like, listen, please, this sounds crazy. They're like, please stop sending me nudes. I was like, or I'm going to have to block you. And guys, like most of you are like, what the hell, is he out of his mind? Because 99.99 of you would love to get that. And you would be in heaven if you got that. But guys, you know why I don't want it? Not because I'm not into it. Of course, I think she's hot, sexy, and everything like that. Is because I don't want to be known as the guy who's looking at freaking other chicks for nude pics in my DMs behind my wife's back. I don't want that. So first thing I share with my wife, like, yo, look at this. We laugh about it. But I just don't want that. I don't want that associated with me. If I want to go to a strip club or something, I decide to go, then I'll go. But if something is coming my way, I don't feel comfortable with it, guys, I don't want it attached to me. Super important that you understand what I'm telling you guys. Like every part. When you eat with your mouth open or closed. I had somebody over my house and they were eating and they're chewing like this. Like, man, like, you just disrespected your whole fucking family by eating like a fucking pig. You know what I mean? You don't understand. This comes down to every part of your life. Are you honoring or tarnishing? Period. When you go to make a business deal, you have a conscience. It's talking to you. You know you can get away maybe with some things that are not 100% kosher. Maybe you'll make more money that way. But your conscience is talking to you and it's telling you. As I was telling my class yesterday, your conscience is the authentic voice of God. It's talking to you. This will be a whole nother podcast, but it's talking to you. You go against it, right? Do something that's not straight. Guess what's going to happen? No one ever has to find out that you did something wrong. Like you know what you did. Because you know what you did, now you put a black mark on your name. This is why I live the life that I live. This is why I try to live like a samurai. It's to never tarnish the family. When you think about samurais, they were the most honorable people of their time. And when they felt that they let their master down or their family down, they had a tradition where they would take the katana and execute themselves. And they did it out of honor. They didn't do it because they were like depressed or like sad or some garbage, right? They did it out of honor. Like, I let my master down. I let my family down. I'm useless now. Again, I'm not saying do that, but what I'm saying to you is this is how powerful your name is. This is how much it means. Is that at certain traditions, you mark the name, your life is over with. When I was around organized crime and you were part of any of these families or gangs when I was younger, you tarnished their name, or you were going to have a big problem. You could very well be beat up or eliminated. But today, guys, today, the world, you know what I mean? Like, people are just getting divorced every second. People are cheating every second. People are lying every second. People are showing up late every second. People just don't give a fuck. It's like their name doesn't even mean anything. Like their name doesn't even exist. Like their parents never sacrificed for them. Their great grandparents never sacrificed for them. For you to be here, there had to be so many people involved and working together to get you to where you are today in your life. And here you are, coming in high, late, lazy, bitching, complaining, whining, crying, shit talking, all of the above, dressing like shit, looking like a slob. What are you doing? Ask yourself that. What are you doing? So if you know what you're doing and you still do it, then you're a piece of shit. If you don't know what you're doing, and now that you heard this podcast and you got a good understanding, I hope you make a change, pivot your life, start honoring your name with pride and honor. Guys, this is all I have to say about this subject. I hope you take it in and really digest it. It's really powerful, man, what I'm telling you. If you start taking in what I said seriously and implementing it to your life, you will look better. You will smell better. How many times motherfuckers come in smelly to the gym? Nails all grown, disgusting, right? Body odors, all this, again, disrespect to the name. You'll look good. You'll smell good. You'll feel good. Your posture, even your posture will change. If you walk around like this, like a hump with the gum, what are you saying about your family name? What are you saying about yourself? You're saying that you're a fucking loser. But if you posture up and your head is up high and your shoulders are back and you look good and you're fit and you don't got fucking tits and you don't got freaking belly hanging out and you don't smell like shit, and even if you have to drive a used car, but your car is clean, you know what I mean? Like you don't have to buy nice things, but your clothes are not ripped, they're not dirty, your shoes are not filthy. Like a lot of people, man, they make this mistake where they think like, oh man, like honoring my name, I gotta be rich or I gotta be. No, you have to be the person who's on point. Okay? You could live in a 1-bedroom apartment, you could live in a studio, but it's clean, it's organized, it smells nice. Or you could live in a fucking mansion and be a fucking pig. Right? You could be the person who shows up to practice and has the best effort, most amount of energy putting out, most respectful, always showing up on time, staying late. Or you could be the person who's like, hey, I'm paying the membership. I'll come when I want. I'll do what I want. I don't give a fuck about anything. You could be the person who's drug and drink free and excuse free, or you could be the person who's a fucking junkie. You could be the person who's honest and loyal and doesn't cheat, or you could be the person who's constantly lying and putting their phone upside down and constantly in vanish mode and going behind people. Who do you want to be? What do you want your name to be known for? Ask yourself that. Once you figure that out, make a plan and live your life accordingly. Have a kick-ass day, guys. Woosah.